EVAC stands for the Eloise Visual Arts and Life Skills Center. When we initially started off on this campaign, I went to the people that I know best because I've always worked in the community. And so I went with Sheriff Grady Judd. That made a lot of sense to me. I was going to go and talk to the sheriff and tell him what a terrific idea I had. And I went in and I sat down with him and I said, I want to build this park and I'm going to call it Tag City, Trendy Art and Graffiti. And he said, no, you're not. He said, it can't be that name, Jane. And I said, why can't it be that name? I like that name and it makes a lot of sense to me. And then he started explaining why it couldn't be that name. And I said, okay, to have your support, we're changing the name today. What is it going to be? So now it is EVAC. And we love the name. It's grown on all of us. And it's one of my favorite stories. And I have hundreds over the 2 years that it's taken us to get here. I want to make sure that I mention the sponsors that make this happen, because not only are you standing on property that was conveyed by the Polk County Board of County Commission to make great things happen in our county for our residents so that we could continue to teach children the arts, everything that you are going to be seeing has been donated 100% by the following contributors. Absolutely. I always mention Citrus Source first, because without Citrus Source, Arts Ensemble would not have legs. They are our sole benefactor, and we are blessed to no end because of what they do. Advisors, Beth Evans, you are beautiful. Thank you. Tucker Construction. I don't have words for what you know how to do except thank you, Matt, Nicole, Chip, and all the guys and gals that came out, moved dirt around, know what to do with it when we're finished. I appreciate you at a level that there are just no words for. Baxter Troutman and Labor Solutions, and you may go, well, how did Baxter get involved in this? We started a program called Doors to Change that had to become its own nonprofit organization about a year into the works, because the need was so great to bring homes to safety in this community that we needed to do something different. It no longer looked like art, it didn't feel like art, so it couldn't be art. And so when I called Baxter, I said, Baxter, you know, I could ask for money, but what I need is staffing, and you own Labor Solutions. He said, that's done, come see me at my office. And he gave us a staff person for a year. And I need to say that Julie Revelle not only works with Doors to Change, she will also be working heavily with EVAC as those two programs begin to merge, because what you'll see happen is once this is up and running successfully, we will begin to move into other communities that are in need of the arts as a way out, a way up, and a way to better your life. Bill Rowe and Noble. I don't see Bill. I'm looking at Bill. Let me tell you something. I did this presentation one day, and I said to Bill in the presentation, not like looked at him, but I said, you know, in other parts of the country, they use graffiti and they recycle walls, and I think it's the greatest thing I've ever heard in my life, and we could do something like that. After that meeting, Bill came up and he said, I have a factory. And so doing what I do best, I went, yeah. Yeah, we'll paint your factory. And about a year later, we did, and that's just down the road. And I want you to know that that factory is internationally recognized in the arts world. You can Google that factory, and you will find it all over the world at this point. Our CRA representative, Perry Clouse, came into the office a few days ago, and he said it would be really, really cool if your artists would paint shovels. And I went, that's a much better plan than what I had. So that's what we did. We had 6 of our artists paint shovels, and I want to make sure that I recognize who they are right now so that when you pick out your shovel, you know who you're getting a shovel from. Artist Richard Powers, Deborah Boone, Trent Manning, Liz, who's right up front, Paul Thomas, Tina Clark, also artist Carol Hughes. And I'd like for those artists just to kind of wave for a second so we know who they are. Wonderful.
This groundbreaking ceremony for the Visual Arts Center is just something to celebrate for what it will do for the future of this community. I'm really serious about that. I know there's great things coming from it. Thank you for taking time to be a part of it. Just so you know, my job is primarily an economic development job, and the goals of the Eloise Community Redevelopment Agency include the revitalization of the infrastructure in the area, the homes, the housing, to provide affordable housing, rehabilitate existing housing that is, needs to be brought up to safe living standards. So the question you're probably saying, okay, what's this guy in economic development doing here? What does art have to do with economic development and the Eloise CRA revitalization goals? Real quickly, many studies have been done about art in the community. But a study by the Joint Urban Studies Center a few years ago stated that arts and culture create an economic impact on local communities. They are essential factors in developing and sustaining the communities they serve, and that communities rich in arts, culture, recreation, and venue promote local tourism and instill community pride while stimulating economic growth. Jane mentioned that this building down here is already internationally recognized. That's pretty cool for Eloise. Arts industries create jobs and provide a return on investment. I hope that someday to see this whole area become a little art enclave, okay? With art shops and supply stores and go get an ice cream, you know, that kind of thing.
Good morning, and what a pleasure and honor for me to be here today. Jane, you know, just loves to give kudos and kudos, but she's the one that we need to be thanking because of this vision we are standing here today. But, you know, being here in Eloise, a lot of you don't know it, but my roots are here. My dad was born and raised here in Eloise back in the 30s and 40s, and this was a wonderful community when he lived here, him and his family. People wanted to migrate here. They did have ice cream stores, they had grocery stores, and they had economic development going on here. So, but then people started moving out. So my dad's in heaven today, and my grandmother's there, but I'm sure they're smiling down because they love this community and believed in this community. So it's wonderful that I'm able to be here this morning to speak to you. But you know, the arts are so essential to the health and vitality of our community, as Perry was stating earlier about how the arts drive economic development. It's so important, and the arts improves our sense of community and our relationships with each other. It helps maintain the small town character that defines Polk County, but also introduces us to the world of opportunities within our reach. It leads to positive community norms such as diversity, tolerance, and free expression. It brings the community together just as we have done today, and it did years ago. I want to make this place a better place with the county as we have worked together. You have all 5 of your county commissioners here today, or all 4. We have one missing, but you have all 4, which just shows you today that the commission is behind Eloise and behind your projects, but also behind the arts.
And so let's do this. Let's break some ground.
Oh, I think it's wonderful. You know, the CRA and Eloise and the revitalization here, the fact that we have a world-renowned building right down the street that is a piece of art is fantastic. The arts are really important, and they start in our schools, but that's just the groundwork, that's just the basics. And just to carry on and for Polk County, the CRA and the neighborhood to be a part of this is a wonderful thing.
Today was the groundbreaking for the Eloise Visual Arts Center, a very exciting day, a day that we've been leading up to for about 2 years, and the importance of this event is that it launches programming in Eloise for the cultural arts community. Had about 40 people with very decorative shovels out here today, all very excited to be sponsors or participants in one way or another for a new event that's going to be taking place in Eloise, Florida.